Praxis 5701 Study Guide. Breaking down the Business and Economics section preparation quiz. Question 1. A dairy farmer has a herd of 150 Holstein cows with an average milk production of 28,000 pounds per cow per year. Option A. The aesthetic appearance of the robotic system in the barn and whether visitors to the farm will be impressed by the modern technology. B. The potential for the robotic system to reduce the farmer's daily time commitment, allowing more time for family activities and off-farm employment. C. The expected useful life of the robotic system beyond 10 years, and the potential salvage value at the end of the analysis period. Or D. The current milk price and projected future milk price trends over the next decade, as revenue projections depend heavily on prices received. The correct answer is D. A comprehensive cost-benefit analysis for a major capital investment must consider all factors that affect the stream of costs and benefits over time. While increased production is important, the revenue generated depends not only on the quantity of milk produced, but also on the price received per unit. Milk prices are notoriously volatile and can fluctuate significantly over a 10-year period. A realistic analysis would need to consider historical price patterns, market forecasts, and perhaps scenario analysis with different price assumptions. Option A is subjective and not a financial consideration. Option B relates to quality of life, which is valuable but separate from financial return on investment. It might be considered a non-monetary benefit, but would not be part of a strict financial analysis. Option C is relevant and should be included, but the question asks what is most important to consider, and price volatility typically has a larger impact on total revenue than salvage value at the end of a long period. The difference between $15 per hundredweight and $20 per hundredweight over 10 years dwarfs most other variables. A complete analysis would include both price projections and equipment lifespan, but price is the more significant variable for revenue. Question 2. A rancher is evaluating the profitability of two different breeding systems for the commercial beef herd. System A uses natural service bulls, with bulls purchased every 3 years at a cost of $4,000 each, and annual bull maintenance costs of $500 per bull. The herd requires 4 bulls for 100 cows. System B uses artificial insemination with purchased semen at $20 per straw, plus the cost of a technician at $10 per cow for AI service, and the use of cleanup bulls for any cows that don't settle to AI. The cleanup bulls cost the same as in System A, but only 2 bulls are needed. Which of the following represents a cost that is relevant to the comparison, but might be easily overlooked when calculating the costs of AI? Is it? Option A. The cost of heat detection aids or synchronization protocols to ensure cows are bred at the optimal time for AI conception. B. The interest cost on the investment in semen storage tanks and AI equipment. C. The reduced genetic variability that might result from using only a few AI sires compared to multiple natural service bulls. Or D. The potential for higher calf prices if AI-sired calves are marketed as having superior genetics. The correct answer is A. When comparing breeding systems, all costs must be considered for an accurate economic analysis. AI requires more intensive management than natural service because cows must be observed for heat or synchronized to be bred at the correct time. Heat detection aids such as heat mount detectors, tail chalk, or electronic monitoring systems add cost. Synchronization protocols require hormones and additional labor. These costs are often overlooked when comparing only semen and technician costs to bull purchase and maintenance. Option B is a valid cost, but storage tanks are a one-time purchase with long life, and the cost per breeding is typically small. Option C is not a cost but a potential genetic consideration. Option D is a potential benefit, not a cost. The overlooked management costs of AI are significant and must be included in a complete analysis to make an accurate comparison between systems. Question 3. A farmer has observed that a particular field consistently produces lower corn yields than adjacent fields, even though all fields receive the same fertilization, tillage, and pest management. The low-yielding field has a higher clay content and tends to remain wet longer after rains. The farmer collects soil samples from all fields and sends them to a lab for analysis. The results show that all fields have adequate levels of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. However, the low-yielding field has a soil pH of 5.2, while the high-yielding fields have pH values between 6.5 and 7.0. Which of the following best explains how the low pH is likely limiting corn yield in this field? Is it? Option A. Low pH causes clay particles to swell and close off pore spaces, reducing water infiltration and creating anaerobic conditions that damage corn root systems. B. Acidic conditions increase the solubility of aluminum and manganese to toxic levels, while also reducing the availability of phosphorus and other nutrients essential for corn growth. C. Corn plants cannot absorb water through their roots when soil pH is below 5.5, because the root cell membranes become impermeable under acidic conditions. Or D. Low pH kills beneficial earthworms and soil bacteria that are necessary for decomposition and nutrient cycling, leading to reduced organic matter and soil fertility. The correct answer is B. Soil pH has profound effects on nutrient availability and soil chemistry. At low pH values, acidic conditions, several problems occur simultaneously. Most importantly, aluminum and manganese become more soluble and can reach toxic concentrations that damage root tips and inhibit root growth. Additionally, phosphorus availability is maximized in the pH range of 6.0 to 7.0 and declines sharply in acidic soils as phosphorus forms insoluble compounds with aluminum and iron. Calcium and magnesium availability also decreases at low pH. Option A is incorrect because low pH does not cause clay swelling. In fact, extreme pH can affect soil structure differently, but this is not the primary yield-limiting mechanism. Option C is false. Water absorption is not directly blocked by pH in this manner. Option D has some truth because soil bacteria are less active at low pH, but this is a slower, indirect effect, while aluminum toxicity and nutrient unavailability are immediate and direct constraints on crop growth. Liming to raise pH to optimal levels would address both the toxicity and availability issues. Remember, we can take your Praxis 5701 exam for you, remotely and undetected, with 155 score guaranteed. Message us via the number in the bio. Question 4. A farmer has a 50-acre field that has been continuously cropped with corn for the past 15 years. Yields have been declining gradually despite increasing fertilizer applications. Soil tests show adequate NPK levels, but organic matter has dropped from 4.5% to 2.1% over this period. The farmer is considering implementing a crop rotation that includes soybeans and a winter cover crop of cereal rye. Which of the following best explains how this rotation would address the underlying cause of the yield decline? Is it? Option A. The soybeans will fix atmospheric nitrogen through rhizobia bacteria, reducing the need for purchased nitrogen fertilizer and saving the farmer money on input costs. B. The rotation will break the life cycle of corn-specific pests and pathogens that have built up in the soil over 15 years of continuous corn, reducing disease pressure. C. The cereal rye cover crop will add organic matter to the soil through its root biomass and surface residue, slowly rebuilding soil structure and water-holding capacity over time. Or D. The combination of different crops will extract different nutrients from different soil depths, preventing the depletion of specific nutrients that occurs with monoculture. The correct answer is C. The key information in this scenario is the dramatic drop in soil organic matter from 4.5% to 2.1% over 15 years of continuous corn. Organic matter is critical for soil health because it improves soil structure, water infiltration, water holding capacity, nutrient retention, and provides energy for soil microorganisms. Continuous cropping with annual tillage and removal of crop residues, if harvested for silage, or slow decomposition of residues, leads to organic matter decline because organic inputs do not keep pace with microbial decomposition. The proposed rotation addresses this directly through the cover crop. Cereal rye, as a winter cover crop, adds organic matter through both above-ground growth and extensive root systems. The roots exude carbon compounds that feed soil microbes, and when the cover crop is terminated, the residue adds to soil organic matter. Over multiple years, this can begin to reverse the organic matter decline. Option A is true but addresses nitrogen fertility, which soil tests already show is adequate. Option B is also true and is a benefit of rotation, but the question asks what best explains how the rotation addresses the underlying cause of yield decline, and the organic matter decline is specifically mentioned as having occurred. Option D has some truth, but is less significant than organic matter recovery. The cover crop's role in rebuilding organic matter directly addresses the measured soil degradation. Question 5. A student in an agricultural education program wants to start a supervised agricultural experience project focused on beef production. The student has access to 5 acres of pasture, a small barn, and $3,000 in startup capital from savings. The student is considering 3 options: raising 2 beef calves to slaughter weight over 18 months, purchasing a bred heifer to start a small cow-calf operation, or leasing 5 ewes for a sheep enterprise instead. The student's long-term goal is to generate enough income to help pay for college tuition in 4 years. Which of the following factors should be the most important consideration in selecting the SAE project to best align with the student's stated goal? Is it? Option A. The initial capital requirement must be kept under $3,000, so whichever option stays within this budget is automatically the best choice regardless of other factors. B. The availability of existing facilities means the student should choose the enterprise that makes best use of the barn and pasture without requiring additional construction. C. The time to first income and the potential for profit over 4 years should be calculated and compared, considering the student's available time for daily management. Or D. The student's personal preference for working with cattle versus sheep should determine the choice, as enjoyment of the work ensures long-term commitment to the project. The correct answer is C. When selecting an SAE project with a specific financial goal in mind, the most important consideration is whether the project can realistically generate the desired income within the available time frame. The student needs money for college in 4 years, so the project must produce sufficient profit by that time. This requires analyzing each option's production cycle, time to market, annual carrying costs, expected revenue, and net profit over multiple years. A bred heifer might take 2 years to produce a saleable calf, then another 2 years for the second calf. 2 beef calves could be sold in 18 months, but then the student would need to reinvest for additional cycles. Sheep might produce lambs and wool annually. Option A considers budget but ignores profitability. Staying under budget is meaningless if the project doesn't generate returns. Option B considers facilities, which is important but secondary to financial outcomes. Option D considers student preference, which matters for engagement but should not override financial viability when the primary goal is income generation. A business analysis comparing projected returns is the most appropriate approach. How many did you score out of 5? Let us know in the comments below. Also, tell us which exam we should cover next. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more.